Imagine waking up tomorrow and your world has changed. You step into your building's elevator, but there isn't one. Instead, you're climbing 20 flights of stairs to your apartment. You check your phone, but wait. There's no bulletproof screen protecting it. No Kevlar in your phone case. That expensive device just became incredibly fragile. You grab your groceries, but the paper bag rips open. Because without Margaret Knight's invention, they're just awkward, shapeless pouches that can't stand up. Your smart devices, your laptop, your entire digital world, gone in an instant because a Victorian woman named Ada Lovelace never dreamed up the first computer program. And as night falls, you flip the switch, but nothing happens. The war between AC and DC power was never won by a brilliant immigrant named Tesla. We live in a world shaped by inventors whose names history almost forgot. Their stories were nearly lost, their achievements almost erased. But today, we're bringing them back into the light. These aren't just stories of invention. They're tales of underdogs and dreamers, of battles against doubt and discrimination, of people who saw the impossible and said, why not? Get ready for 5 forgotten inventors who changed everything. Their names might not be on your history test, but their legacy is in every part of your life. Crystal Palace Exhibition Hall, New York, 1854. The Grand Exhibition Hall buzzes with anticipation. Sunlight streams through the glass ceiling, illuminating a curious wooden frame that towers 4 stories high. At its base, hundreds of New York's elite gather, their eyes fixed on the man standing on a platform suspended high above them. This is Elisha Otis, a 43-year-old mechanic from Vermont, about to stake everything on a single demonstration. What these well-dressed spectators don't know is that this moment wasn't part of some grand plan. It was born of desperation. 3 years earlier, 1851. Otis was working at a bed frame factory in Yonkers, New York. His job? Build a hoisting platform to lift heavy equipment. Just another task for a man who'd spent his life moving from job to job, chasing the American dream with limited success. But as he watched workers nervously loading the platform, something clicked. You see, elevator hoists already existed. They just had a nasty habit of plummeting to earth when their cables snapped. And let's just say workplace safety wasn't exactly a priority in 1851. In his small workshop overlooking the Hudson River, Otis developed an ingenious safety brake. If the hoisting rope broke, a spring would force 2 metal arms outward, catching the platform in the guide rails. Simple, effective, and revolutionary. If only he could convince anyone to buy it. Which brings us to this moment. The crowd holds its breath as Otis raises his hand. Ladies and gentlemen, his voice echoes through the hall. I am about to demonstrate the perfect safety of the hoisting platform. His assistant, positioned above, raises an axe. The rope is cut with a dramatic flourish. The platform drops for just an inch. Then Otis's safety brake engages, exactly as planned. Standing perfectly steady, he delivers the words that would change architecture forever. All safe, ladies and gentlemen, all safe. Within years, Otis safety elevators were being installed across New York. The E.V. Hawwout Building, a 5-story department store on Broadway, installed the first passenger elevator in 1857. The charge? A revolutionary $300. That's nearly $10,000 today, but you can't put a price on making skyscrapers possible. Before Otis, buildings rarely exceeded 6 stories, the practical limit for stairs. By 1870, buildings were reaching 12 stories. By 1900, the Park Row building stretched 30 stories into the Manhattan sky. A vertical revolution had begun. Today, the Otis Elevator Company, still bearing his name, operates in over 200 countries. Their elevators and escalators move more than 2 billion people every day. The tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, runs on technology that traces its roots back to that dramatic moment in 1854. But while Elisha Otis was revolutionizing how we move up and down, another inventor was about to change how we think altogether. In a manor house in England, a young woman named Ada Lovelace was looking at mathematics in a way no one had before. 1 month after the Battle of Waterloo, in a quiet London townhouse, a girl was born into a storm. Her father was Lord Byron, the most famous poet in England. Her mother was a brilliant mathematician. Their marriage lasted exactly 1 year. Lady Byron, determined her daughter wouldn't follow her father's wild poetic ways, prescribed a strict diet of mathematics and logic. Young Ada would spend hours studying geometry, while other noble girls learned needlework. But something unexpected happened. In numbers, Ada found her own kind of poetry. London, 1833. In a grand salon filled with the brightest minds of the Industrial Revolution, 17-year-old Ada meets Charles Babbage. He's showing off his latest invention, a mechanical calculator called the difference engine. While others see a complex machine, Ada sees something more, the future. Their partnership would change history. When Babbage designed his next machine, the analytical engine, Ada saw beyond his mathematical calculations. In her extensive notes, 3 times longer than the original paper, she wrote the first algorithm intended to be processed by a machine. Think about that. In an age of horse-drawn carriages, Ada envisioned computers that could compose music, create graphics, and solve complex equations. She wasn't just ahead of her time. She was ahead of the next century. In her own words, the analytical engine weaves algebraic patterns, just as the jacquard loom weaves flowers and leaves. She saw the connection between art and science that even Babbage missed. Today, we call her the world's first computer programmer. The programming language ADA is named in her honor. Every time you run an app or play a video game, you're using principles Ada Lovelace first imagined in 1843. But while Ada was predicting the digital revolution, another inventor was about to spark an actual one. In a world lit by gas and candlelight, Nikola Tesla was dreaming of a future illuminated by alternating current. A young Serbian immigrant steps off the boat with 4 cents in his pocket, a letter of recommendation to Thomas Edison, and a head full of revolutionary ideas. This is Nikola Tesla, and he's about to change the very way we power our world. The letter gets him the job.
You're in.
Edison offers Tesla $50,000 to improve his DC power systems. Tesla works tirelessly for months, eventually presenting solutions that would save Edison a fortune. But when Tesla asks for his payment, Edison laughs it off. Tesla, you don't understand American humor. That broken promise sparked one of the greatest rivalries in scientific history, the War of Currents. Edison's direct current could only power homes within a mile of each power station. Tesla's alternating current? It could send electricity across vast distances. 1895 Niagara Falls. Tesla's dream becomes reality. The world's first hydroelectric AC power plant lights up Buffalo, New York. The same system Tesla designed still powers homes across America today. But AC power was just the beginning. In his lab on Houston Street, Tesla created technologies we're still trying to understand. Wireless power transmission, remote control, radio. He even lit up light bulbs without any wires, decades before Wi-Fi was imagined. At the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago, Tesla creates a sensation. He runs electrical current through his body to light lamps in his hands. The crowd is stunned. This isn't just science, it's magic.
Magic.
By the time he died in 1943, Tesla held over 300 patents. The FBI seized his papers, marking them top secret. Today, his name lives on in every Tesla coil, every electric car bearing his name, and in the very electricity powering your home. But while Tesla was lighting up the world, another inventor was about to revolutionize safety in ways we still rely on today. It started with a simple request: make a lighter car tire. But what Stephanie Kwolek discovered in this lab would end up saving thousands of lives, from police officers to soldiers to astronauts. 1964. The world is worried about a gas shortage. DuPont tasks their research team with creating stronger, lighter fibers for vehicle tires. Kwolek, already a veteran chemist with 15 years at DuPont, takes on the challenge.
How long I've been waiting for this. Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself there.
Late one evening, Kwolek creates an unusual solution, cloudy and thin, when it should be clear and thick. Other scientists might have thrown it away, but Kwolek's instincts tell her to test it anyway. The lab spinneret operator refuses to test the solution, afraid it will break the machine. Kwolek persists. Finally, they run the test. What emerges is astonishing. Fibers 5 times stronger than steel at just a fraction of the weight. She had just invented Kevlar, a fiber so strong it could stop bullets, yet light enough to wear. 1 pound of Kevlar has more strength than a pound of steel. Today, it's in everything from bulletproof vests to spacecraft. By 1975, the first Kevlar vest hits the market. Since then, it's saved the lives of more than 3,000 police officers. But that's just the beginning. Kevlar now protects military personnel, firefighters, athletes, cell phones, airplanes, bridge cables, spacesuits. Despite her groundbreaking discovery, Kwolek remained humble. She never profited directly from Kevlar's success. Instead, she dedicated her life to mentoring young women in science, breaking barriers in a male-dominated field. When Stephanie Kwolek passed away in 2014, she left behind more than just a revolutionary material. She showed that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from questioning what others might dismiss as a mistake. And speaking of questioning conventions, our final inventor challenged not just science, but the gender barriers of her time. In the bustling factories of 19th century Massachusetts, Margaret Knight was about to revolutionize an object you probably use today without even thinking about it. If you're still with us, you're clearly someone who loves uncovering hidden history. Hit that subscribe button to join us on more journeys through time. Now, let's meet our final forgotten inventor. Massachusetts, 1868. The cotton mills of New England are roaring with the Industrial Revolution. Among the thundering machines stands Margaret Knight, a woman who started working in these factories at age 12 and is about to change how we carry everything. But let's rewind. At just 12 years old, Knight witnessed a horrible accident when a shuttle flew off a loom, injuring a worker. Instead of accepting this as just how things were, she created her first invention, a shuttle restraining system. The factory installed it immediately. She was barely a teenager. By 1868, Knight is working at a paper bag factory. The flat-bottomed paper bag we all know today, it didn't exist. Bags were more like envelopes, narrow, weak, and prone to falling over. Knight watched grocers struggling to pack goods and thought, there has to be a better way. Working late into the night, she creates a machine that automatically cuts, folds, and pastes flat-bottomed paper bags. But before she can patent it, Charles Annan, who saw her wooden model, steals her design and patents it himself. In an era when women couldn't even vote, Knight takes Annan to court. His defense? A woman couldn't possibly understand such complex machinery. Knight responds by presenting her detailed drawings and models, proving every step of her design process. She wins. The patent is hers. That paper bag machine revolutionized retail. By 1883, Knight's company was producing 100,000 bags per day. Her design is still used today. Every time you carry groceries in a paper bag, you're holding her legacy in your hands. By the time she died in 1914, Knight held 87 patents. They called her the most famous woman inventor of the 19th century. Yet somehow, history almost forgot her name. These 5 inventors, Otis, Lovelace, Tesla, Kwolek, and Knight, remind us that innovation doesn't always come from where we expect. They worked in sheds and basements, in laboratories and factories. They faced ridicule, theft, and discrimination. But they persisted. Today, their inventions are so woven into our lives that we barely notice them. We ride elevators without fear. We carry computers in our pockets. We flip switches and lights come on. We wear fabrics stronger than steel.
Are you wearing Kevlar?
We carry groceries in bags that just work. So next time you use one of these everyday miracles, remember, behind every great invention is a person who dared to think differently. Someone who saw the world not as it was, but as it could be. If you enjoyed this journey through forgotten history, hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories. Drop a comment letting us know which inventor surprised you the most. Next week, 5 ancient cities that vanished overnight. They never saw it coming,